Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming along to our October user group. And tonight I am doing a session that is a session unlike any other session I've done. It is it's very different. It's a lot of marketing tonight, and the talk I've written is called From UX to CX and Improving the Customer Experience. When you speak to marketing people, for several years they've been talking about CX all the time, meaning customer experience. And I've read a lot on it, and it's mostly quite fluffy. And for me as a developer, I'm always trying to work out, yes, I agree with these broad motherhood statements about putting customer first and thinking like a customer and all this, but I am trying to work out what things that we should specifically do and translate marketing stuff into actionable things. So I think if you are, run a business or think about these things for your clients, you'll learn plenty tonight. I would love you. I think we're at the beginning of this journey. When I think about the data warehouses we've built over the past, a lot of it has been inward facing, and this is a lot about outward facing. So I'm hoping you'll generate ideas and write them down on your eval forms as notes, and maybe we can talk about them after. It'd be fascinating, because I'm sure every business is in a different situation and you're going to generate different ideas. And this has I think I've been thinking about this problem for a long, long time. So personally, I'm interested in this. So here's how I've broken down the talk. I've broken it down into, I want you to learn the terms. How many people in this audience know what UI means? Everyone. Good. How many people know what UX is? Everyone. How many people know what CRO is? Oh, not. What do we got? 2%. Okay. And how many people know what CX is? Okay, half. Well, you should have got CX. It was on the first slide. All right. Now, then I want to talk about some basic examples, and we'll look at a couple of websites. Then I want to go through and talk about fixing problems. And I want to fix them in a way which is in a different style. And then throughout the talk, we're going to learn about many different tools. And then I want to talk about, which is dear to my heart, integration, because obviously we're a team of developers and we want to integrate systems. So I have an alignment towards certain tools that can integrate well and ones that don't. And then I want to talk about what the future is, okay? And the future is interesting. Okay, so this is me. I'm the Chief Architect here at SSW. I'm one of a few Microsoft Regional Directors. I'm an MVP for Microsoft, and I'm a Scrum trainer, and I drive a Tesla, and I used to ride a motorbike until I had a nasty accident. And I've got a link to I'll just quickly show you for those that don't know. But 6 months ago, I had a nasty accident where I broke several ribs, stuffed up many of my internal organs, and nearly lost my right arm. But I'm all okay now, and I'm 100%. It's amazing how the body recovers. So I've never put in a slide. All the talks I've done over the years, I've never put it about SSW, but I did tonight because I think I've been thinking about this problem, even though I didn't know it as customer experience, for a long time. And one of the things that I've always hoped is, even though we have many developers from many different countries, and even if developers were brought up in the same household, they would argue over semicolons and they'd argue over certain styles and when you do unit tests and when you don't. I've been trying to get our guys to work in a similar manner. And it starts from the first day when they turn up and they do an induction course called sugarlearning.com. And then from that point, we have all these rules, and the devs follow the standards. And it all started with my very first rules page I ever wrote, which was called Rules to Successful Projects. And that was, must have been close to 20 years ago. And some of the things that we talk about tonight were actually on that page. I'll talk about that. And apart from all the coding standards, one of the things I really care about is communication. And we have rules to better email and rules to better other things. And we even have what we think are the core things that you have to do for our happy clients, rules to better happy clients. So, when you think about all the topics we're going to talk about tonight, a lot of it is how do I get customers, how do I engage them, get them to do things with me, and convert them, and then how do I retain them? Now, you kind of have to talk about all this, but all I'm focused on tonight is this retaining. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep most of the conversation around retaining, although there's plenty of these things overlap. Okay, and if you think about the funnel is huge. It's not like that funnel. You know, the customers you end up getting are a tiny proportion of the ones you're trying to acquire. So here is the history of customer experience that I believe we've kind of gone through. So we cared about having a customer and having the customer keep coming back. And this probably went back to the Stone Age. They were probably making bread and and somebody else is making bread, and you kept going to your bread guy. And when you lost a customer or two and you went to the other one, you probably thought, why did he leave? And so you think, whoa, now I'm sure they didn't think about customer service, but maybe he had a better machine that ground up the bread, the grains a bit more, and they went over there. In 1883, Yellow Pages started. Okay, and I think you'd consider that acquisition. And I found this funny. In 1968, it was so big they had to put it in alphabetical order. Okay. In 1993, we started doing websites, and we wanted to make our websites cool. Well, we wanted to have our customers do websites in the beginning, and it was just static HTML, and that's more acquisition. And then we started worrying about UI. Who's got a nicer website than somebody else? And that was very focused on nice images, a nice look, nice brand. And then we started thinking about user experience and how do we allow them to get a job done. And in 2002, it was all about SEO, search engine optimization. And that was putting all the right keywords on our website so AltaVista would find us. And then when Google came out, it was all about finding the right things to do, good Google juice. And I always remember my little girl, she was only like a few years old, and she goes, Daddy, what is, Google juice? What does it taste like? I was at the swimming pool, I always remember that, because she'd heard me on the phone all the time. So then it was 9 years later, Facebook ads, and we switched to Facebook ads. And that is still not the dominant one. The dominant one is Google, not for us, Facebook ads is, and I think Facebook will pretty much take over most of the revenue people spend in the next 5 years. And then we started really talking a lot about this term CRO and making it sticky. And then in 2014 and onwards, we've been talking about CX. How do we have happy customers? How do we look at it from that side? And when I think about it, I feel this is all about service and retention, which is exactly what we started with. So I'm going to tell you who I'm loyal to. I'm loyal to Tesla. I think I'm loyal to Tesla for education. I read every article that comes out. I'm fascinated. I am just, I feel like they make me smarter. I believe in the whole clean energy. I've got a Tesla. I'm changing my garage to put the batteries in. I've ordered the Tesla tiles. The whole thing. I'm just into it. I'm also into Wild Basket. It is just a cafe just down the street here in Neutral Bay. But I feel loyal to them. I go there almost all the time. There's no good reason. The guy there, Andrew, he's nice. He remembers my name. Every time I order, I always make whatever the menu item is, I change one thing on it, okay? I don't know why. I just do it maybe out of habit, or I actually want something different. I always get it. And I notice that he sometimes, well, probably two out of 3 times, he gives me I know that all plates come with 1 egg. He puts 2 eggs on mine. So I feel, I don't know, loyal. Fitbit, I feel very loyal to them. I actually don't think of all the devices, they're the best, but I feel very loyal. I have all my family on them. I've had so many bands break. I think in the last several years, it must have been 20 or 30 bands, and I've taken them all back. They've never complained. They always replace them. There's no issue. But there's a bigger brand that I'm going to be loyal to, and I'll tell you soon. Now, when I put this slide, I was doing this slide in the kitchen at home, my wife was surprised that I didn't put Qantas down. I didn't put Qantas down because I feel like I'm tied to them. A little bit like David said, I'm tied to Adobe. I don't feel that that's the same thing. I'm cuffed to them. I can't start flying Virgin because I've got so many credits with Qantas, it would never be worth it for me. So what do companies do to remove your loyalty? So these are the things that I think remove loyalty, and I've heard plenty. I will say when the price difference is too much. I'll use an example here. Andrew Coates from Microsoft is always flying Qantas. I go for a walk with him and his wife in the mornings, and he's going to America these days on Virgin. And I find that fascinating because he travels business class. He's a very upper class type guy. And he doesn't want to pay 10 grand to get to Seattle. So Virgin, $5 grand. Too big a price difference for him to justify in his head, even though he loses all these credits. Refund issues. His wife, I'll use a different example. His wife, Samantha Coates, she goes to a new site. She describes this problem. She goes to this new site, and before she purchases it, because she's not sure, she doesn't know them, she goes to the refund policy. If I don't like it, am I allowed to send it back? Yes, no problem, send it back. Any problem? Buys something, likes it. Goes back, something's on sale, she buys it. Comes, she doesn't like it. She sends to them, I'd like to send this back. They go, sorry, you bought that on sale. She goes, excuse me, dear so-and-so, as per your terms and conditions, link, it says you accept refunds. I want to refund my product. They reply back, sorry, you bought it on sale. Look at there's a bottom link at the bottom. If you click that and then read that page, you'll find out. And she goes, well, that's unreasonable. I didn't, goes back. So the fact that she has to have 7 pieces of conversation and then finally blowing her top and saying, all right, I'll just report you to the industry ombudsman. All right, we'll refund you. She is upset now and won't use them. Outsourced customer service, very, very painful. I hate it when I end up, have a serious problem with some piece of or connection, with ISP is common, end up in India or the Philippines, and you're having huge communication problems, you're having lags, they don't understand what you're talking about, I'm talking about something local, they don't understand, it's really painful. That said, and I have plenty of problems with Amex, I think they're in the Philippines or whatever, they know their stuff instantly, they resolve things, they're educated, they, I guess, either the problems are easier to solve or they're more educated, but they're quick and easy. So I heard Raj say, I hate it when you could do something but you can't do it now. A little bit like what Mehmet said, they broke the promise, and he's specifically talking about how upset he was, I think, with the iPhone and the jack causes a big problem. Still upset about it, and this is like 6 months later and he's still talking about it yesterday. And the other one I hear quite a lot is, I hate it when companies chop and change and you can't trust they're going to stay the course. Silverlight, yes. It comes up a number of times with Microsoft actually. So, what is UI? That is UI. That is what it looks like. Does it look neat? That's good UI. What is UX? Is that UX? UX. All right. Now I had to explain this to my little girl who, obviously, it's kind of incredible. I had to explain to the problem. We had this, and you had to, or you could use a little bit of hot water to get the last bit out. But this is, you know, I think they were selling this for like 30 something years, and then finally they fixed the problem and they give us nice UX, which is, this is, you know, the only thing my daughter's seen. So that, I would say good UX is when it's very easy to complete an action, okay? So having good UI and good UX enough? No, because they come to your site, they go, that's a cool product, yeah, I think I'd like that, something, get distracted, they're gone. They'll never remember you. That is very similar to when we used to have to put an ad in a magazine. And of course, they would show you that people usually only buy when they've seen that ad about 7 times. So you had to buy 7 months of subscription, you know, costing thousands of dollars every single ad before you reap the benefit. So the answer is CRO, conversion rate optimization. And this is trying to get you, stick you, use good techniques so that you will end up turning into a customer in the end. In the beginning, you just want them to turn into a proper lead, a hot lead. How do you do that? Well, they get your email. And then these pop-ups started happening. Now, I find this interesting because the pop-ups reduce the user experience. They are friggin' annoying. But why do they keep annoying us? They keep annoying us because they work. They're amazingly successful, okay? Craig Bailey sitting in the front row there, he spends his life making sure that, that these are converting very well. And he's one of the people that recommends to companies put these horrible, annoying things on. So, conversion rate optimization. If we add UX, UI, and CRO, is that enough now? No, there is retention. So we've used these techniques, we've got them, but we've got to keep them. And that's what we're going to work on tonight. When a customer feels bad, then they stop being a customer. Or, if it's like me, locked into Qantas, still okay, I still fly Qantas. I might not be a fan if I have enough bad service. I'm just handcuffed, and I could even be using them, but just always slagging them off. You do come across those people. All right, so the answer is CX, customer experience. Now, I've read plenty of articles about this. It's hard to nail down. Everyone seems to describe it quite differently. Brendan, sorry I spelt your name wrong. This is a stressful job, but I tried my best. So this is the way, well, before I describe it, who thinks they know what customer experience is?
I think it's the total experience that the customer has interacting with everything to do with your business, brand, product, service, all of it.
The whole thing, yes.
And it comes down to the concept that the people have in their mind.
The
how
feeling
they think
they have,
about
yes.
you,
Yes.
the feeling.
That's right. The vibe, yes, the vibe from the castle. Yes, yes. Jean, it's from France. You have to watch the movie called The Castle. Then you'll understand what the vibe means. Okay, so I say this. It's the whole impression from the beginning to the last experience, from acquisition to finishing, to no longer being a customer. So I think it's about branding, and it's about what you see and the feel you get from the branding. Some of that branding, I thought that was cute when Starbucks started spelling names wrong a lot, and I'll just show you this. Then we found out they were intentionally doing it. So you'd see, I don't know, do I have any pictures here? Yeah, but they were intentionally spelling people's names wrong on different coffee cups, and people were going, oh, isn't that funny? They spelled Adam, A-D-A-A-M. And then I'd tweet it and say, yeah, you know, then you're getting all this Facebook love. Communication, oh, there's one, Charlotte.
They're like bogan names.
Communication, what is the experience when you communicate with the company? And then you have a meeting. What is that feeling like? And then the success, signing up or whatever. And then it's the crisis. How does it feel when you have a problem? We just had a couple of people mention that ISPs and having a problem. It's really stressful. And how do they deal about giving feedback, then breaking up? Do they make it really hard to break up? And then it's the touching base. So Tiago in our office put this together, but it's UI, you add UX, you add CRO, and then you've got the entire thing is your customer experience. I should say this CRO, if you think about it, actually should be have a big bite out of the UX. But people like Craig and others are always talking about how do we do CRO without impacting the user experience. And you can see that Facebook does it pretty well, okay? So I was looking for cool videos later on in the session, and one of them was Dollar Shave Club. Went there, somebody was telling me, I actually, I never knew that razors were expensive, because my wife buys the razors, and when they're out, I just go into the bathroom cupboard and put a new one on. And then some of the guys at the office were saying, no, you've got to get into this Dollar Shave Club. It's really important, like it's a fortune. I had to say to my wife, razors expensive. And when I'd been to the site, then all of a sudden I started saying, you know, since you showed me that, I'm seeing it everywhere. Like I didn't notice it before, but I'm seeing it now. But of course, once you go to the site, then you go to Facebook, you see that, you go, you know, it's around the traps. Hilarious. Anyway, all right, I think that's fair enough. So let's talk about the client lifecycle before we get into some techniques to improve this. The client lifecycle, you might be buying a car from there, or you might be buying a car from there, okay? Now, obviously, there's places, if you're want to buy a car for $2,000, that's where you go. If you want to throw your money away, you want this. And the branding probably indicates how much you'll be paying. So it's the branding and the ads. And then it's the way they communicate with someone. Are they professional? Or, you know, how you going? You know, it should be opening the shop around 9, you know. And then you find out from a meeting what the budget will be. And then it's about success, signing up. What are the terms and conditions like? And then it's the crisis contact. And then it's giving feedback. And these days, the customer is all powerful. The customer, not happy, they can do a lot of damage with social media. Although they don't seem to be able to damage Donald Trump with social media. And then it's breaking up and the handover and touching base. I actually can't think of companies that do a great touching base. After you've finished being a customer, I can't think of iconic examples other than every customer keeps you on a mailing list and they keep sending you a newsletter and then you unsubscribe and then they keep sending it to you. You know, I don't really know that. But I saw this. Customer experience is a lot like a marriage. The early experience has a huge impact on the relationship. And then every interaction from that point is a debit or a credit. So you've got to be really, really good in the beginning, and then you've got to be wary that you slowly eat away at it. So I love listening to the young people in my office always talking about relationships. It's fascinating. It is a completely different world, interacting with everyone by mobiles. You've got my daughters, the way that they interact with all their friends, it's all by message. You know, we used to call people up on the telephone. Well, when I'm trying to organise something with my daughter and say, hey Ruby, we need to know what we're doing tomorrow, it's 8 p.m, can you call up the girl? Dad, I can't call her up? That's weird. You don't call people, you text. I will text. Okay, SMS. Dad, it's text, don't say SMS, not around my friends anyway. So, so this got me thinking, because I've heard so many of these, and the girls are the best at telling the stories about how they evaluate the guys. So it's very like the dating life cycle. Oh, Mehmet is pricked up. Okay, so Mehmet, when you're young, you've got to have a good Tinder profile. It's really important. You don't get any bites unless you've got a good Tinder profile.
Left or right?
Yeah, I don't know. So the Tinder profile is important, and then they check out your mutual friends on Facebook. And then it's communicating. So they work out which way you want, which way you are going to communicate. Now, Mehmet, if you got on and said, they go, look, I'll Snapchat you, and you go, huh, what's Snapchat? Oh, I don't have an account. Can you just SMS me? You know that they're going to form an impression of you straight away.
No, also send me an email.
Yeah, send me an email, even worse. So then you meet, and the girls work out some attributes of the bloke, what type of job they have, and then they have this chat about, look, when we become official, do you change your Facebook status or do you not? Okay, because you've got to work this out. And then it's the crisis contact. They almost exclusively text, and then only in certain circumstances do you use the phone. Okay, and then it's about how do you give feedback to each other and negotiate that when you've had a texting relationship for the majority. And then it's the breakup. Now, I've heard some good stories about this. You can break up with Facebook Messenger if they're not worthy of a text. Do you know that? I didn't know that, but that is a thing. That is a lower status thing. There's another one apparently where you can just ghost them. And it's quite incredible, and I've definitely seen this with my kids as well. Because you're communicating via text, by the way, kids don't want to communicate via text, they want iMessage. Do you know why? Because the messages are blue, okay? And when the messages are blue, you get more stuff. You can see when they're actually typing, big important thing. With an SMS, that is a problem because you are getting less. You can, I think, give a reaction, stuff like that. So I've never done that in my life. I've had an iPhone my whole time. But there's a lot of cool things. Now, we got the mic, and that to Ruby. Am I lying here?
That's one of the things. The main thing is actually that it's free.
Oh, it's free as well. Oh, yes.
Yeah, because kids have plans and their parents think, they don't need to text or call anyone. So they give them like one call a month.
Oh.
And so they use like iMessage.
Yes. So even though Ruby is now a fan of Samsung, you heard, she thought it was cruel and unusual punishment that I gave her an Android when the entire school had iPhones. And what I didn't understand, I said, it's just a phone. I just want you to have something different. And she said, but they send class updates and things via iMessage. I don't get the iMessage. It's really affecting my schooling. But anyway, she gave up. Her dad is very persistent. So then there's the handover. Now you have two choices with the handover. You can wait for them to ask, can I get my stuff? Or it's much more proactive and nice to say, I left your stuff on the porch in a box. Okay, this is real. I'm not making this up. This is real conversations I've heard in our office. So, and then there's this other thing, that the touching base part. You have this black book, and apparently you can get these 2 a.m. hookups. They're called booty calls, and these are used in redundancy when the night doesn't work out. I can imagine having that in our day. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, although we didn't have mobiles, we'd have to chuck a rock at the window or something. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let's look at the CX of a few companies. Now I want to look at a government organisation like Service New South Wales. I want to look at Airbnb and a mobile provider like Uber. Before I do that, I'm just going to go through like when we do this for real and go into companies, you've got a hell of a lot of things to look at. I'm just going to make this a contrived, simple example. We're going to look at whether they've got a mobile-friendly app, whether they've got an intro video, whether they've got a nice help system, whether they've got a nice chat system, and other lots of things. You can place lots of things in this bucket. Have they got a nice UX? Can I see it in my language? My wife is Greek. She likes all her web pages in Greek. No, she doesn't, but anyway. It needs to be good performance and accessibility. And 500 plus other rules that we have on our site that you can look at and people care about. So the first one, and actually these all exist on our site, this is my little quote. Nice, make it nice on your device. Craig, do you like the rhyme? Make it nice on your device. Yes, that could be a tweet, yeah. So this is expensive, this one. This costs a lot, and you have to choose whether the client wants at least responsive or a mobile app. Then you have to have an intro video. I think you have to have an intro video. I'll show a few. This is pretty important, these videos. So I'll just show the way. Obviously, we have a few guys in SSW TV, so we spent a bit of time thinking about how to make it memorable for different companies. And they all have a different goal, but I'll just come down here.
Most timesheeting programs are the same. At the end of the week, you sit down to enter your timesheets, but you struggle to remember exactly what you did. Then, when you try and enter your data, you have to create clients, projects, iterations, and then enter the specifics of what you worked on in the comments. Now, with SSW Time Pro, you don't have to do any of that. You can pull the client, project, and iteration data from Microsoft CRM and pull the comments in from TFS check-ins. Just click a button in Time Pro and all the work is done. What you just saw was a 20 to 30 minute weekly task taken down to 2 minutes. So, how does this magic work? Here is Yuli, the account manager, entering a booking in the Microsoft CRM service calendar. The developer gets this as an appointment in his calendar. He opens Visual Studio, codes away, and does regular check-ins, taking note to make client-friendly check-in comments. At the end of the day, he gets an email to remind him to enter his timesheets, clicks a link, and presses confirm. Actually, that wasn't even 1 minute. SSW Time Pro.
So there is an educational type approach. I'll show you this other one. And these all have to be in under 2 minutes, I believe.
Has your relationship seen any hard times?
Well, yeah. I think every business goes through hard times with their customers.
When we first met, his customer service was just awful.
I didn't think I had the time or the resources for it.
I would call.
She would call.
I would email.
I was not very good at listening in those days. I was very overwhelmed.
Oh, so I started complaining. I told my bridge club, my sister Lorraine, and my 41,000 Twitter followers.
That hurt. Very public.
So, what happened?
Well, that's when I got Zendesk for my customer service.
That made it a real relationship.
Zendesk helped me become the business I always wanted to be.
I like it when he gives me the business. No, don't be old-fashioned. No, it didn't mean anything.
I told you a million times.
Okay, so there are two approaches to making things memorable. One is using cheap innuendo, the other is very educational. I'm going to show you what I think is even better, Dollar Shave Club. I think actually, when I think about the business, when I think about this business, I'm now distracted by the Zendesk video, I think about the video. I think it's very important to their business.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for a few dollars a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster.
Oh, that's very good. All right. In fact, all those videos were 1 minute. All right. So I think it's. Anyone got any comments? Their thoughts on any of that? Because not obviously most businesses miss out on that. I just think I think it's really important. The other thing is, what do I do when I trying to use the product, I'm trying to solve a problem, trying to do something, I think it's really, really important that every business you can go to a help page. And the help page to me, first of all, to me, it should be a nice URL that says help. It should be, I want to see the most important FAQs on that first page, but not just what the company tells me. I want the other side to be organic. I want it to show me automatically based on all the other articles people are going to. I want them to be transparent. The number one is up there. I want to look at them and I want to scroll down, that type of thing. So to solve this problem is pretty cheap. There's heaps of solutions out there. I'll show you a couple. We use Zendesk. The next thing is, if you want help and it's not in the knowledge base, you want to be able to find someone to chat with. So it's not good enough to put an email address on a website. It's not, it's very similar to the Tinder example. You don't want to, you want to communicate with a girl in a modern form. You don't want to communicate in an old form. You're dealing with millennials. Many sites out there will allow you to chat to them on WhatsApp or text them, whichever way they want to do it, or Facebook Messenger. And live chat is another very easy solution just to put on the site. Customers demand more than an email address now. So you want them to allow you to ask a question, but when you do that, you need staff to do this, and you need to train the staff. So when you do this, it's very cheap to implement. You can pay, and I'll talk about pricing soon, but you're not paying very much to implement a knowledge-based system. It costs a little bit to maintain. You pay not very much to put in a chat system, but you pay a fortune to maintain it. Really important. So what's the solution? And then there's lots of things, seeing in the language, seeing performance, seeing UX. So let's go through. I want to go through a few. Service New South Wales. Let's have a look at Service New South Wales. This is the place where we go and we get our license. This is the new name for the RTA and the boat departments and all that, all amalgamated. Let's go on there. What was the first thing we liked? Mobile. Is it mobile friendly? So this is mobile friendly. I'll show you the app in a minute. It's really good. What was the second thing? A video. Yep. No video. They get a cross for that. What was the third thing? Search. Okay. How do I get a refund? Okay. I go to a search page. Okay. So let's have a look at their help portal. Do they have a help? Where's the help? Okay, I'm just trying to find help. Oh well, they give me a phone number. Not really. I was wanting a nice portal, but then I come on here, and their help is to fill in a form, and this form goes into some Salesforce form, and I filled this in before. You see the URL switch up to Salesforce. So that is okay, I guess. Now I should tell you, during the day, when the Service New South Wales working, their normal working hours, 11 till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there is a little widget that pops up here, all right? And you can have a live chat there. And what was the final thing? Language, okay? I'm choosing Greek. Now, if I'm my father-in-law and I can't speak a word of English, he is going to have to know how Greek is written in English. That would be a slight problem. But anyway, we do have Greek. All right, awesome. So let's give them some marks. Mobile app. Yep, it's really good, I'll show you. No video. So help. They do have, I'm giving them a tick for chat because it does work for limited hours during the day. I think it's a mistake that they hide it, and we'll talk about that later because it does matter. And the language, I'll give them a tick for that. Now, I had a great impression of Service New South Wales, that's why I put it on there, even though I'd never been in a Service New South Wales, because I love the mobile app. I got the mobile app, I can see my licenses, I can see my regos, I can see my fines, and I can see my demerits. I love those 4 square boxes. So, there's my licenses. I can see the boat license is digital. I don't have to physically carry my boat license. You can see that the New South Wales driver's license is not digital. That is coming. So soon you won't have to carry your license when this becomes digital. I should tell you, Yuli, just 2 days ago, he has this. We had installed this, and he was pulled up by a copper, and he pulls out the app and goes, "Sorry, I don't have my license. I have an electronic license." And he showed it, and then he said, "Oh, I hadn't seen it. It's very good. On your way." Now that copper was wrong because it's not valid. I do find it funny. I've still got my motorcycle license after my terrible accident. And there's my demerit points there, Mehmet. See, not too bad, hey? All right.
That's you got 4 left.
Yes. So, Airbnb. Let's have a quick look at Airbnb. What's the number one thing you got to have? A good mobile app. Do they have a good mobile app? Yes, they do have a good mobile app. We'll give them a tick on that. What's the second thing you got to have? Search. A good search. What was the second? A 2-minute video. They actually don't have a 2-minute video. Okay. They've got heaps of videos on YouTube, but they don't show straight away. If you don't know what Airbnb is, you're going to have to click around and try to work this out. What's the third thing? A nice help menu. I've got problems. Let me click on help. Ah, interesting. There it is. I've got a nice help center. Let's see how good the help center is. Does the help center have the things that they want me to click on? Yes, they do have that. But they don't have what I like, which is shows the most common ones based on usage. That annoys me that they don't have that part as well, because that's what I want to see. What's the other thing? I want to chat to someone. So I want to get my money back. So how do I, I'll click on help. Okay, nice pop-up. Refund, please. Okay, it's none of those things. I want to speak to someone. How do I speak to someone?
Visit Resolution Centre, the top there.
Visit Resolution Centre. All right, let's try to see if we can speak to someone. Need to send, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to.
What about messages?
What messages? You think messages will do it? Okay. Nope. I just want to speak to someone to resolve my refund problem. Refund. Now, anyway, you will not be able to get there. You won't be able to speak to someone. They make it crazy painful. We'll go into some of these things. And what's the refund policy? No, it's not helpful. Okay, what's the reason? Well, I want to speak to someone. I'm looking, and so in the end, it just ends up as a ticket, and you resolve later. That's not the way I want to solve it. I need some help. So, good mobile app. No video. Good help system. They are not showing me, they're not chatting with me. And, language. We didn't look at language. What's language like? I'll go back to the home page. So I'm Greek, and I want to see, do they have this in my language? Hold on. I'll press the home button. There it is. I saw it at the bottom. There it is. And oops, look at this. This is damn annoying. Can't get to that. There it is. Oops. It's very annoying, but you can eventually get there. So English. I'm looking for Greek. It needs to be in Greek. Oh yes. Anastasia, Greek? Yeah, very good. There. That says elather. That's how Greeks say their name. Elather, meaning lots of oil. Elather. Lather me up. All right. So let's look at their. Let's look at the mobile app. The mobile app is very nice. There's the experience. There's the date range. There is the type. They're the type, and then from that point you have a nice mobile. Then you have your chats with the people. All right. Very good. So example. So next one, let's look at Uber. I take it that they have a good mobile app. So there is the homepage. Now what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to solve my problem. Oh, sorry. So there's no video on this site. Okay. So everything except a quick video, although it doesn't take long to work out what it is. What's the next thing? I want a nice help center. So let's click on help and let's see if they have. Now they show their common ones, but they don't show the automated ones. All right. So now I want a refund. Now what is clever about Uber is they assume you've got a problem with the last one or the last two. So they say, what are you after? You've got an issue with the last ride. I just think this is a very, very good UI. We go refund. Oh, sorry. Nothing happens. Whatever you search, refund limit. Nothing happens. It's a terrible experience. That's kind of their search. Now, they will just, it's slightly bizarre. Now anyway, don't worry about that. I want to speak to someone. I've got a problem. Let's speak to someone. Where do I speak to someone? Anyone got any ideas? I want to get a refund, but not, I want to get a different type of refund. So I don't, okay, I like a refund, but I don't want a refund on that one. So I can't.
Well, you can do the drop down on that, but that's separate.
I can do the drop down? Show me. I don't want a refund on this ride.
Can you choose a different date on the map? Click on the date.
Click on the date? Where's the date?
The date in the map.
Oh, but, oh, okay. But I don't want any of these rides. I want a refund in general because they've been overcharging my credit card with other rides that aren't here. Okay? So I just want to speak to someone. How hard can you make it to speak to someone? They can make it very hard.
Well, it's part of their business model.
Yeah, part of it. They don't want to have you to speak to them, and I'll come to that in a second. Oh, so did I do the rest? What else was there? Language? Where's my language? Is that language? That's the location. I don't like this. Do you think that my father-in-law would know that's how you change the language? Oh, there we go, down here. He's going to have real troubles with that. So you have to be pretty clever to come here, and it's either Chinese or English. It's not going to help my Greek father-in-law. Okay, so let's give it mobile app. Fantastic mobile app. No video. Help system. Chat is bad, impossible. And language is, well, if you're Chinese or English, that's good. So this is the mobile system. So you push a button, select the type of ride you want, watch the taxi coming to you, ride with the guy, and then automatic payment. So it's a pretty phenomenal system. Who here is an Uber? Who here still uses old taxis? So, and who never uses Uber or taxis? Okay, so we've got a half and a half and nobody on old taxis. Very good. Okay, so what I want to do now in the second half is I want to talk about fixing these problems, and I want to talk about a concept that I thought of, which I have taken some of the ideas from what we do in the software industry, applying it to marketing guys. I don't know if they will go for it. I want to talk about some specific tools and integration. So let's kick along. So the first step that you would do when you were just trying to improve a company that's just worked and never really tried to do any of this step, I would just tell you, listen to your social media, have a look, have someone doing that, because obviously you just need your account set up and you want to be able to see what people are saying. Okay, it's very easy to be very flat out in your business and not looking at that stuff. The way that Virgin do it is they have a whole, I think I've read some of Richard Branson's books years ago, and he would go and it'd start with him. He would go and work in customer service on the planes, in the shops, and then it trickles down to most of the staff doing that. Amazon have a policy that all the senior managers have to spend 2 days each year on the phones in customer service. All right? And that is where you feel the pain, and that's how you feel silly systems that employees are following, and a lot of employees are following. And that is a great way to actually get a sense of what it's like outside your ivory castle. Okay, Scott Guthrie, he's the corporate vice president of Microsoft, and he, when he switched from owning all the dev tools and went to Azure and owned the cloud at Microsoft, which is the holy grail and the most important position at Microsoft, apart from the CEO. He took all the Azure managers, took them on a week-long retreat, and he made them for the entire week. For the first week he worked with them, all had to use Azure, he gave them unlimited cards, and they all had to do all these tasks with Azure, and they were all using different parts. And for a whole week, they had to feel the pain, they had to build stuff, they had to go through, and that was how he started off. So very similar type of approach to some of these other companies. And these type of approaches have been going on for a long time. Craig, you told me, was there a company?
Well,
you got the mic? Can we just get the mic over here?
Well, way back when, Bill Gates used to do customer service, and there's that, I think, an example where he's taking office queries, but even today...
He was on the phones?
He was. Yeah, I'm sure you can Google and find a picture of young Bill. But yeah, CEOs will often do customer service as well.
Right.
HubSpot CEO did that recently. Yeah.
Okay. And what do you say?
Well, they get an experience for exactly what you're saying, feel the pain of
right.
the customers.
Okay. So this doesn't require fancy tools to do this type of stuff. We've been doing this style of getaway, and this is when we were very young. You can see, first employee at SSW. You can see that's Daniel Hiles smiling, and there's my little Ruby. That's Eve actually. She was 1 or 2. So. That was 15 years ago. And we would go away for 2 weeks each year as they got older. Then we changed that to one year because some of them had babies and it was getting harder, and then it becomes a weekend now. So we just go, we take the company away in the different states once a year for a weekend, and we do some brainstorming. I also, these days, I used to always keep a list, but I keep a Trello board now. So somebody comes to me, or I get a call sometimes on the weekend from different guys who really want us to invest in something. I put it on my Trello board, and it's really handy. Also, I find annual reviews. I spend a good chunk of a day on an annual review with the guys, always finding stuff. And have it in my plan to have the guys 1 day a year on reception and sales and in accounts with Yuli, understanding what goes on. All right, so anyway, so what we did from this point is we made just the core things on rules to happy clients, okay? And that's the core things that guys do that cause a problem. And I mention all this because this is all manual. You don't need numbers from this, you just need talking and a little bit of experience. So this is just about increasing customer satisfaction in the beginning, and I put there, I'm not caring about reducing costs at this point, just let's do something. Now, usually what ends up happening is you work out we've got to communicate better in person, or we've got to communicate better on the phones, or we've got to communicate better on email and chat, something to do with that style. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples. We just went to Cairns for the school holidays, and we got there, and the company that we purchased a car from didn't have the car sitting there. They said, we're really sorry, when you get home, just go and get your refund, you'll be fine. Come home, my wife goes, that bloody site doesn't have anyone to speak to, they've just got an email address, send an email off. I've heard crickets for days. And she was frustrated. She felt she got jibbed because she can't do anything about it. Send another email, more ignoring. So that is so if you only have an email address, you're going to be pissing off people. The next experience, okay? My wife, She is a CPA. She is fairly familiar with superannuation laws and things. She's dealing with a problem for her father, and he is now a pensioner, and so they send a bill, and she knows that with the superannuation fund she can get that changed. She goes onto the site. They have nothing about this specific thing in super, so all you can do is call. So you call, and you go. The first thing when you call, you have to choose. Is it going to be for an individual or a business? Well, this is a super fund, so it doesn't really fit neither. I'll take a guess at one of those. And then you get, you get 5 choices there. Then she will go into the super area, and then from that point you get 9 choices. And then, so you can imagine how frustrating this is. She doesn't want any of those because it doesn't. She needs to speak to someone. So the 9th there is, apart from all the different options which she doesn't need, there is more information on superannuation. Well, she doesn't need that, but she chooses that. That has a 2-minute recording about superannuation. Cut. End of call. That's really frustrating, crazy frustrating. So she tries this again, gets nowhere. She has a bright idea. She rings them up and chooses all the options to make a payment. She gets someone on the phone. Now, if she's got someone now, she needs to be transferred. So there's a hot tip for the Australian Taxation Office. Anyway, and I need to tell you that young people don't like speaking on the phone generally. They try to Google, they try to resolve it. When they speak on the phone, they have a problem and they want it solved quick. That's why that's really important. So I was just talking to Tiago. Tiago is one of our guys from Brazil, and he told me that he went to a little island just off Brazil, 14-day holiday. On the first day, he loses his wallet. He has 2 credit cards from Australia and 2 credit cards from Brazil. He reports them to all the organisations that he's lost his credit cards. Within 3 days, he already had his 2 Australian credit cards back on that island, okay? And it wasn't until the 12th day that he got his Brazilian credit cards back. So it just goes to show you that we have great customer service here. So if you're whinging, it's already good. Now, he also said when he goes travelling, he's had multiple calls from Australian banks that say, excuse me, Mr. Arujo, are you using your credit card in this country? Is this a valid transaction? Yes, I am, please. He said, I have never in all these years ever had a call from a Brazilian bank. Okay, so you can see that we already have good service. All right, so I've told you it's not good enough to have email addresses on a website. You must supply live chat. So I want you to be aware, why don't you, Uber, who earns a lot of money, why don't Airbnb, why can't I talk to anyone? Well, when you have a phone call, they've done studies on this, and I've seen some really nice studies on this, but essentially it all comes down to when you're talking on the phone to someone, you're solving one person's problem. When you are doing live chat, you can do, so for example, if a person can do 20 calls a day, they can solve 100 chats a day. So that is why live chat is very good, okay? So this is what you want to do. You've solved some big things from customer service and improved communication. Let's do a few things quickly. We want to fix up our live chat. We want to put a knowledge base in. We want to do support, okay? So there's plenty of products out there that do it. I'm going to show you what's involved if you use Zendesk, which is not dissimilar to others, and I'll tell you why we use Zendesk a little bit later. So live chat, we've got how we enable live chat, and you do this because there's missing information in your site. You can't answer everything. You come in and you paste some JavaScript, all right? And you're good. Then that's done. And now you have this little live chat, all right? It's very, very quick step. Then you need a knowledge base system. So we need a list of our FAQs. So the first thing you need to have is you should have a help.ssw.com.au or help, whatever your company is. When you come in here, this is all our knowledge base articles and for different products. They're here, so you can click on different articles here. And they have this guide admin at the top. And when in the guide admin, that's how you configure your knowledge base. Now, we actually had a knowledge base before we started using Zendesk, And it's not a particularly complex thing, but there were always things we were always going back and fixing with our ASPX pages. So what's involved, so this is maintaining that data. I'm in the back end now. That was as simple as getting to the back end. But the very first time that you ever do it, let me just tell you the very first time. The very first time that you ever do it. I just did chat, didn't I? So you come into chat, and in chat, you would set up chat. And so you basically come into chat, and the very first time it says, here's the JavaScript, paste it into your site, and you're good to go. Okay, and that is the annoying sound that Zendesk use. There's nothing wrong. So operating hours, and so there is a widget here. You click on the widget, and this pops up first time. There's your widget, put it in, and you're good to go. So the second thing is we just talked about the knowledge base. Now you'll notice they don't call it a knowledge base. They call it guide. We'll come to later why they do that, because every company does something different. So I'm going into the guide now, and so you would come in here and you click on this little eye icon, and that is customizing the design. So all we did is we came in here and we changed the colors to the SSW colors, red, gray, black, and etc. And then we press publish, and we're good to go. So that was pretty much what's involved in that. All right, so you just come in here and you set up your guide and your support and your chat. So it's not very complex. And I just told you, you just modify the colors to whatever your site is, and you're good to go. And then you have a listing of knowledge base articles. So that's done too. We're all happy. Support tickets. Okay, so now we need to store support tickets. So people come to your form on your website. When we started, all our forms sent emails to info@SSW. Okay, I'll tell you about the problems of that in a second, but they're very hard to track and certainly impossible to get metrics on. Now our forms go into a ticket system. So stop. Keep going through, click here, add this JavaScript, click here, set this configuration, put it all live. I think that what I just did was a very, very bad example, and it's very easy to do that, all right? So I'm going to suggest to you that some of these things you're doing have big wins. They have big, big effects on a company. Some of the things you do later on about optimizing will have smaller effects. So you've got to get used to making changes and measuring. So I've obviously spent a lot of my time on DevOps. I just went to the States, went to Seattle with Microsoft. We spent a whole week just going through all the stuff Microsoft do on their internal systems. It was called a DevOps week, and it was all about how they do their stuff better. So I think about this stuff a lot, and maybe this influences me a lot. But essentially, if you're not familiar with DevOps, it's just about finding the most painful piece of software development and optimizing that and making that better. And for some series of years, it was build. And then it became deployment. Octopus Deploy became huge, and then Microsoft did release, and you've got many solutions fixing this. We go into different companies regularly. Every company has a different major pain point. It's always different. So you've got to find that out, and then you've got to fix it. Why don't the marketers do the same thing when they're doing this? Don't tell me not to click this thing, put this JavaScript. Tell me to follow a methodology. Well, here's my methodology. Devs are cool, so we've got things to learn from devs. So implement this with CX, and I'll be interested in your thoughts on this. So work out what is the most painful thing that a customer has. What is it? Well, you need numbers. How are you going to find out? So this is how, when we go to Microsoft, all they talk about is CSAT, CES, and NPS. Who's familiar with these terms? Put your hand up if you know what these terms are. Okay, so one person. All right, so this is just an example. There's plenty written on this, but when we go and talk to Microsoft, and there's usually insiders or an MVP meeting or something like that, people are complaining about different things. But all Microsoft know is all the numbers that they get. They know that Visual Studio 2017 is rating higher than Visual Studio 2015. So they know that people using that are happier. Even if we tell them that people at our user group are complaining about this and this and this, they know. They show us the numbers. And here is what they are. CSAT. How would you rate your experience with Microsoft? And you have to say I'm very unsatisfied, or I'm neutral, or I'm satisfied, or very satisfied. They're your choices, okay? And they turn this into a rating out of 100. This is effort, okay? You've just completed a task. You've gone through and filled out all this and built something or whatever. What was that like? So Microsoft made it easy for me to deploy my site to Azure, or whatever the example is. Should make that a little, that's okay. So I can strongly disagree, somewhat agree, strongly agree, okay? Or one that they often talk about is Net Promoter Score. They really want to know whether, I'll just make that 150. They really want to know this one. How likely, on a scale of 0 to 10, will you recommend Visual Studio 2017 to your colleague, okay? And this, they work this out through different ways. They pay people to go out and do surveys of developers. Okay, so this is a technique you guys can do. But these are the 3 things that they talk about regularly. And they're very well known industry terms. So you can do that. Or you can send forms with questionnaires. And do you get a lot of these emails where they say, oh, thanks for buying this, fill in this form, and I ignore it, and then I get another one, and then I ignore it, and get another one. I'm sorry for staying at that hotel. This is another way, and I really like this. It's simpler. Every time one of the girls in our office answers the live chat on Zendesk, they can go, thank you, or they can go, that's a thumbs down. In fact, they mostly, Penny has a really good success rate answering quickly and giving the right link, helping them basically do some basic things. So somebody called up the other day and said, are you looking for the 9-week course? Well, she goes, it's not running right now. 9-week 5 bootcamp, where is it? And it's not running right now. It'll be maybe running later, but I can refer you on to our 6-week course. She got a thumbs down. She was pretty upset about that. She goes, I found it, I answered him really quick and I gave it. He gave me a thumbs down. He wasn't happy with the answer, even though she was efficient. If you get a lot of those thumbs down, that will trigger you to go, whoa, we got a problem here. Okay, so it's quite good. And I'm going to give you some better techniques than this shortly. But yeah, so chat has that, and Zendesk has some reports. You also should have someone monitoring your social media comments, and you can have little polls as well. So you want numbers for everything, and the goal that I have is to have a whole series of nice canned reports and some custom reports that we make in Power BI. That is my end goal. So you want to get numbers on everything. In fact, at SSW, we have had numbers on what I thought was everything. We have a data warehouse that has stuff that you have from CRM, our Time Pro billing system, and the MYOB system. So they all go into it and we have these nice reports. I thought that's how our company works. I can see orders, I can see invoices, I can see timesheets, I can see payments, I can see what I need to see. But I'm not looking at it from outside, okay? And now that's what we're getting to. So I kind of always believe this. Every time you make one change, it's going to have some positive and negative effects. So you get one thing in life and you lose another. So this is what I'm suggesting. You go through and you guess the pros. And you go through and you guess the cons of the next action you're going to take, and then you measure it. And this is the most important, measuring, because guessing is one thing, but let's find out So let's go through and do what we did before, but let's do it the right way. The right way should be like this. The first step, gather what numbers you have. Implement live chat. Implement live chat offline with support tickets. Implement a knowledge base, implement live chat deflected tickets, implement lots of these things, and there's lots more, but let's just do some basic ones first. So this is what we had at our company. We had the number of website visitors we have, Google Analytics. We have the number of calls that come into our system because they come from into a link server. It goes into a SQL database. We have some reports off our link server. The number of emails that go to info, we don't have any way of knowing what that is. Well, I guess I could give Penny a job of counting them every morning. It would be painful. Yes, there's not. It could do it with some Exchange APIs. We do have Exchange Reporter, but we don't get the number of emails that are coming in. So it can just count things at certain points. And the type of email, yes. Or you can put in Office 365. They have some sexy reports. We have the number of CRM opportunities. I really care about this. This really does tell me what's going on. I have another one, the number of booked in days. How many 100 days of bookings do we have for the company? It's a really important thing. So let's do this. We are going to implement live chat. Before I copy and paste this JavaScript, I'm going to do this. My website visitors, I don't think they're going to change. My calls, I think my calls are going to decrease. Because why do they need to call if they're all using live chat? My emails to info, that will decrease. I can't count it. My CRM opportunities are going to increase because I'm answering people's questions quickly on the website. I love it when it happens to me. I think my customers are going to like it. Chats. I'm now going to have more chats because I didn't have any chats before. And how quick you answer, because there's no point in having chats unless you're instantly answering. So that is going to, we have to work that out. So, any questions on that? I've got some negatives and some positives. Mike? Why am I doing so much guessing? I have to guess in the beginning because I'm about to implement. I can't predict the future. I will have my numbers now. I'm going to guess what will happen, and then I'm going to see what the numbers are next month.
I think what you're trying to do there is, based on implementing the web chat, or the live chat, you're trying to see what the effects are. So by saying, I think the number of calls are going to decrease, or the number of emails are going to increase, or whatever, when you do implement it and the numbers do come in,
yes,
when you do the next thing, you're probably going to be better informed.
Yes, you get the more times you do this, the more
you're going to get better and better.
Yes, when you get something wrong, I actually thought you guys would all look at this and tell me which one I might have got wrong, specifically, because it is guessing at this point. But the more you guess and the more you look, and the more you realize, oh, that happened. Oh, I was wrong on that. It's all learning. So let's move on. I really, at this point, even with some decreases, of course I'd love my calls to continue to increase, but as long as my opportunities are increasing, I'm pretty happy. Okay? Now that's existing customers, and as long as my chats are getting faster too, that I'm responding quick, that's important. So there's some reports in here. This shows me that Joe, Penny, and Brittany are actually answering almost all chats within the first hour. If I compare that with some industry average that Zendesk showed me, I'm pretty fast compared with these slow companies. Okay, I spoke to a company called Bingle.
Can I just say very quickly? I think that report, is this the Zendesk report?
Yes, the Zendesk report.
I think it's pretty bad. I'd want that in minutes.
Yes, of course, and you can customize this type of thing.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just showing you the default reports. Yep. So, and I do want to tell you that there was a Bingle. They had and the guy talks about how long when he took over, what was going on. He said, I wanted to know how quickly are tickets resolved in this company. So they went and started measuring. It took a long time. Was it 4 hours? Nope. 8 hours? Nope. 2 days? Nope. 4 days? Nope. 10 days? No. It was 3 weeks to resolve tickets on average, and they had a lot of tickets coming in. Now, imagine if those tickets and some of those are going to be big tickets, complicated, crashes and things, and some are going to be small things like need my password reset. So if you're in just a system like that, your customer service is shocking. So you have to start measuring and then You know, they're a bit of a Zendesk, you know, poster child. So, you know, basically they implemented a whole series of different things and got their customer service zinging. So let's put in the support tickets now. I'm going to put support tickets in because when people are offline, my chat disappears, like on ServiceNow. My chat disappeared. Let's fix that. So when the girls aren't there, it sends a ticket. What will that be good or bad for my business? Well, I know that the calls, they're not going to call the office because they can send an offline support ticket. Emails will decrease. Opportunities should increase. The chat wait time, that will decrease. That's a bad thing, okay? But my tickets, I now have tickets, so it's a new thing. All right, any disagreements with some of those assumptions? And I guess I care about that as long as that's increasing and my wait time, but my wait time is decreasing. So this might be a bad thing, and maybe ServiceNow put some thought into that. Okay. So here's a report, and this kind of just shows you what's happening in Zendesk for us. But see, this is this one was investigated, and that was me turning on my thing, and I didn't answer it. I just turned it on to have a look at it, and then all these things are coming through. Bugger this! I'm not answering all these. It's a Saturday, and then the girls say, "What are you doing? You're ruining all the stats." All right. Anyway, so the most important thing to look at here is the wait time. Is on average 16 seconds before we respond. Okay, so they know straight away someone's there and saying, hello, yes, we're here, what's your question? Okay, so that's done. Let's do the next thing, knowledge base. I want to put in a knowledge base to answer all the questions. Well, let's have a guess. I think it will decrease emails because they won't need to email us. It will increase opportunities, decrease chats because now why do they need to chat if they can find out themselves? The wait time should get quicker because there's less people to serve. If most of them are finding them themselves, I think it will be quicker. The tickets will decrease because they don't need to send tickets. They just can look it up themselves. And the website visitors should increase because now you've got Google Juice coming to your search pages. Okay, any disagreement with those things? All right, cool. So my opportunities are going up, and my wait time it's quick, so it's getting faster. So that's good too. All right, and here's just an example of a report from Zendesk, and that is, let's have a look. Well, reply time. Yeah, nothing too bad here. All right. So that's done too. So, live chat out of hours, leave us a message. So this is when this happens. So we've got this going now. We leave a message and that's done. So I just want to talk to you about a few different choices of implementing these things. All the companies out there, Zendesk, Intercom, we'll have a look at HotJar. This is not a vendor, this is just a company I'm just going to. Let's go and do a search. They have a video, yes. Do you want to see it? No. So let's go on to help. I'm just going to show you. This is one way that you can implement these tickets. I can just go refund and press enter. And that's all I have. Now I have no chatting here. So that's all I have. Or you can do it this way. This is Bingle. Oh, what's going on here? Bingle. I will just search Bingle. All right, so let's see how they do it. I'm just going to search here. I go to the Help Center. So I think this is a better way of doing it. Refund. Or I can click Help. And see this little pops up, and this is everywhere. So rather than having to go to the Help Center on every page, you can just go refund. And I'll press enter. And then go, oh, great, there's my answers. Okay, this is just that little widget that they give you. View more. More. I want to chat with someone. I want to chat with someone. How do I chat with someone? So this is my favorite. So we'll go to the iconic. I think this is a better way of doing it. So let's come here, pretend I'm shopping. Ruby, you should like this site. This is a pretty site. We come down here. Oh, did you notice that took 10 seconds before they pop it up? What did I just click on? What word was it? Chat. So I want to chat. I want a refund. Oh, I thought it was chatting. Oh, but it's showing me the results and then I can live chat. But what it's subtly doing is, would you like to read it first? Would you like I know you thought you wanted to chat, but it's probably one of those, isn't it? So this technique on the iconic is just another parameter you can choose to set this up in these chat systems, all right? So this just requires the chat system, requires the knowledge base, and requires support tickets if you're going to have this working offline. All right, so that takes you to a term called ticket deflection. And ticket deflection, we talk about it on one of our rules, but that is the idea of you want to chat, but we'll take you away. And obviously, Uber is 100% ticket deflection. Airbnb, 100%. That is slightly. They still need people doing live chat. And I think that's the nicest balance. So basically, deflected tickets is solving your sites, designing your site so users can solve their own problems, avoiding the use of service agents who cost more money. Okay, so we just saw that chat, and this pops up, and then you can leave a message if they're not available at the time. All right. So, putting in deflected tickets, is it a good idea or not? It's certainly going to save some dollars if we can put in ticket deflection. So our website visitors, they won't change, calls won't change. Our chats are going to decrease. The wait time should increase, the quick chat wait time, so quick chats, because there's less people to serve. The tickets should decrease, and the website visitors overall should increase because you're going to more web pages. All right, so it doesn't do anything for opportunities, but does improve your wait time and reduces costs as well. So that should be. Okay, I just want to show you some real life chats because training will be involved. If you get a new member of staff and somebody's assisting Penny and she is not answering questions in the way you'd want, or not referring people to knowledge base articles, or here's some examples. And we were at the NDC conference a month or so ago. Nobody's in the Sydney office. So all these chats are going to Melbourne. And Joanna's answering it and says, hey, we'd like to scope out a migration from Heat to Heat. Oh, it's actually a Zendesk example. Heat to Zendesk. Apologise, most of our staff is currently in a conference. Are you based in Sydney? Yeah, I'm in Chifley Towers. Okay, excellent. I'll pass on your message. Anyway, this ends up being a several $100,000 job. Okay, there's Zendesk paid for itself. Here is another one. It's not all good news. Hey, greetings from Indo Solutions, who happen to be in India. We are an organisation. We can help you with B2B stuff. And then when you don't answer, they just keep sending it to you. Okay. So you get this, these time wasters trying to sell us something when we implement this to help us sell our stuff, and it's annoying. Here is, you get lots of these too. Oh, you could, yes. Hi there, thanks for getting in touch. Can you tell me what MD stands for? Because this chat had already gone on a long time. And Belinda says, I'm talking about Microsoft Dynamics. Oh, okay, we've got a couple of resources. What position are you interviewing? Well, I want some information on the developer backend. The recruiter said I need to check out MD, Microsoft Dynamics. And so Joanna says, look, I'm afraid we don't have any resources, but I've looked it up on YouTube for you, and it appears there's many videos that can help you. Here's Microsoft Dynamics. All right, so now she's being a Googler for someone. And you're getting a lot of this type of stuff. So there's pros and cons of doing this, and so you've got to be aware of this going on as well. I do see this kind of slightly annoys me, so I'll call it out. I see some sites just has a question mark icon. Some say help. Some say help center. Some say support. Some say knowledge base. Some say KB. Some say knowledge. And some say guide. And there's a few others as well. So, what is the right name?
It's going to depend on...
Mike?
It's almost like you need a rule on it.
Yeah, well, actually, the rule is the consumer. So whatever the customer wants to see should be there.
Oh, you didn't answer my question. You're a customer?
So
Which one?
If you're a customer for whatever particular site, you're going to be a particular sort of user. No, but that's going back. That's going back 20 years.
Right.
To where we all thought developers knew everything, and we actually really know that this is the targeted user. We'd have to test the targeted user to know what they'll want to see.
Okay. He's a consultant. All right.
That's right.
Okay, anyone have a strong opinion? All right. So I do. It's always been help. It should always be help. Oh, Ruby. Yes, what's your opinion?
I think that it depends on the consumer as well. You wouldn't want to put something like KB on a shopping website. People would have no idea what that means.
Okay.
But you might want to put it on something like Visual Studio 2017.
Yes. So I found out that the different companies, like Intercom and Zendesk and HotJar, they're all using different terms. Salesforce use a term called knowledge. Guide, you saw guide being used by Zendesk. They're all using a different term because they want to own the term in marketing terms. Interesting, isn't it? Okay? So ignore them all and just call it help.
It might help with branding.
I think some of the words have different connotations to them, so you'd probably use them in different sections of the site. Like with help, that sort of says there's a lot of urgency to what I need to get done. So
I'm talking about the menu item at the top on the menu bar.
Yeah, so in terms of help, you probably want that down the bottom. So you probably wouldn't want to use that there. You probably want to use something like the question mark icon. You want to have it minimalistic. But support, you probably have down near the footer.
But support and help is essentially the same thing.
Yeah, they're the same
thing.
thing.
Go to a portal page.
But you want them in different parts of the site.
Right. Okay. Interesting. I haven't heard that one before. You, Mr. Bailey, does he have an opinion on this? No opinion? All right. Cool. Okay. Anyway, so I basically think it should be help and then pipe knowledge base. All right. This is my favourite help page. They have frequently asked questions and they have the main thing. I think it's done quite well with the search. That's my favourite. Okay, we're going to come back to that site in a sec. Measure. How is each feature doing? So, CSAT data tells you a lot. Now, I know, going in all the Microsoft meetings, that Azure is their focus and they want all their features used. And so, they can use an external company to do it. Which they do. They also use widgets. So let's have a look at two examples of CSAT. Here is the Visual Studio page. What do you see? Look down in the bottom right-hand corner. So the bottom right-hand corner, we have this feedback. Let's click the feedback. And this, when you answer this, which you're usually in a bad mood, I guess, they're using usability. And you can click that. Also, docs.microsoft.com, which we go to a lot, they have in the bottom right-hand corner, is this page useful? And you click a button, and then that pops up and it says thanks for your comments, and that's more stuff going to their CSAT, which they show us. So if you say, I'm not happy, what do you want? Well, I want more information. This page isn't allowing me to get my job done. So let me just tell you, basically, in general, Microsoft really care about this CSAT figure. And let me tell you why. Because Microsoft Azure has Azure now has so many products that I don't even know the names of all of them. I can't rattle them off anymore. And they want they're big teams and all these products. They want all of this used. When they see low CSAT on one of those things, they know that it's not being used. And here is a quintessential example. Scott Hanselman, he blogs about a cool feature. He's just met with the PM, he's worked out how to do it. He does a cool blog. The docs are shit. Hundreds and hundreds of developers go trying to implement this in their company. Now they can't do it because all they had was Hanselman's, concoction, and they need more help. So the CSAT figures go down. The executive sees the CSAT figures and work it more on, say, the docs. Here's another thing you've got to put in, user voice, okay? Really important. Get satisfaction is another one just like that you can use. And then there's the bots. Check this out. So Ruby, have you seen this? I'll show you Skyscanner. Actually, Mehmet, aren't you going to... Mehmet? He's gone. Okay. Julian? Okay. Let's buy a ticket. Hello? Who's used Skyscanner bot? Okay, we got one. All right. Hello, where do you want to go, Julian? Bogota. How do I spell P-O-G-A-O-T-A? I assume I need to spell it right for this to work. Okay. Do you know how much that costs? Yeah, that's okay. It costs $1,188. When are you planning on traveling? January. Now, I know from experience I have to enter an exact date. If I can enter January, and it'll say
10th.
Which day in January.
The 10th?
The 10th? The 10th of the 1st, 2018. All right? When are you coming back?
The 10th of February.
The 10th? Is this a real flight?
Yeah, I don't...
Oh, really? Okay. So, I hope I get you a cheaper ticket. Searching for a flight from Sydney to Bogota. See how it knew that I was in Sydney based on past searches? By the way, I hate the way that they do this. I want to see label, data, label, data, label, data. I don't want to see this all in a sentence like this. Anyway, that'll come back in 1 minute and I'll have a whole series of flights to choose from. Okay. Now, is this for advanced or basic users? Or both? Who says, so we'll say simple, advanced, or everyone. Who says only simple? Okay, a quarter. Who says only advanced? Who says everyone? Okay, now, most of you said everyone, almost all of you, 3/4. So I would say, look, this is very early days. My experience with all these bots, and we have Siri now, we use Siri a lot. When I'm driving, I use Siri to send a text and it translates questions. I'm not as good as Yuli. Yuli is amazing with Siri. He does everything with Siri. And he sends, like when you're with him for just an hour, well, in that hour he sent 5 texts to his wife real quick, okay? My wife would think something's up if I sent her 5 texts in 1 hour. So when we have Google Home, when we use Google Home, it does lots of cool things. Plays songs, does lots of cool things. But really, it doesn't do super complicated things. I have a feeling that this is not for the super complicated. This is just for everyday scenarios. So I think that you're dreaming if you think it's going to deal with much more than the basic stuff. Yeah, which is going to get better and better, but yes. So you can, some of these services out there are starting to give you live bots as well, so that you can send an email and it comes back and it answers the query automatically for them. Is that good or is that bad? So let's say that we go into one of these products and we tick on, yes, we'll support live bots. That'll be an extra $5 a month. And what will it do? My chats will decrease. I won't have to chat as much because they're doing an automated chat. My quick chat wait time, well, that will increase because there's less people to serve because the bots are taking over. my tickets will decrease and my website visitors will increase. Okay? So, there's products out there like Intercom, really nice products, really expensive. Okay? Microsoft use this. There is HotJar. Check out HotJar. HotJar. You guys are going to thank me just for coming tonight. All right? So, I'm on HotJar. Remember we want CSAT? What does CSAT stand for? Liam? Customer satisfaction. I always heard that term at Microsoft for years. I didn't know it stood for customer satisfaction. I just knew it was a CSAT figure. Okay, so you come into feedback. Look at that. Is that sexy? So, you like that, Ruby? Look, they move. And I really like this page. I think that you would only, Craig, correct me if I'm wrong, I think most people are going to click this when they're not happy. So I come over here and I think, this page is not giving me what I need. I'll give you feedback, all right? I'll give you bad feedback. And, oh, what's this? Select an element. Yeah, I don't like no credit cards required. I want to pay. Okay? So, is that sexy? Yeah. Who thought that was sexy? Hands up. Everyone. Even the French guy's impressed. Yeah, wow, all right. So I'm going to send some feedback. Whoa, look at that. I don't get that on Microsoft.com when I send feedback. It just says, thank you for sending feedback. Yeah, but I just typed a big complaint. I want to put my email address with it, and you tell me when you fixed it. I'll say, yes, Adam Cogan. What did I say here? They're going to think this is weird, but anyway. Thanks for telling me. I want to pay. So, that is awesome. Let me just play this video. Because I should give you context. This company, just like others, so for example, Zendesk. Zendesk started with a support ticket system. That's what they started with. That's all they were for years. And the reason I like Zendesk is because I'm disappointed in Microsoft. I like all the Microsoft stuff. I've been pushing Brian Harry for a long time to have a public ticketing system. Okay? There's good reasons which department inside Microsoft owns a ticketing system, because there's the ops guys and there's the dev guys, and there's that juggling between them. But I don't care. In the end, no one's given me a good ticketing system. So Zendesk have a good ticketing system. But now I think of Zendesk as a live chat, because our customers like live chat first. It's easy, convert sales. Then there's tickets, and then there's knowledge base and stuff. This company, HotJar, what did this start of? This started as just a heat mapping company. We give you little heat maps, but now I just showed you something that's even cooler than the heat maps, the nice feedback. Let's watch their video.
Sites are built and improved based on hunches and guesses. But maybe we just don't need to guess anymore. Take HotJar. Instead of guessing what motivates your users' behavior, you can now see which bits of your site they love, where they click, tap, move, how far they scroll, and what they totally ignore. And by playing videos of your visitors, it's as if you're watching the screen over their shoulder. So you can see what turns them off your site and causes abandonment. But it doesn't end there. You can also ask questions directly to your visitors. Ultimately, this means you can optimize your website's user experience, prioritizing content that needs attention for quick and effective results. Overall, HotJar's range of features gives you access to solid proof about your users' behavior. So wave goodbye to old-fashioned guesswork. HotJar, all-in-one analytics and feedback.
Is that cool? And this product is amazing. Come here to the product tour. Like, I won't show you everything, but just look, the heat maps. Let's look at the heat maps. You can come on here and you can see where have they clicked. This is only where they clicked. Well, you can see they clicked on all the menu items, this menu item the most, whatever that is. They click on going back to the home page. They clicked here, here, here. There's a couple of spots. Let's talk about their mouse movements. This is super cool. I can click on this and see where their mouses were moving. So this isn't all where they clicked, it's where they were hovering. Let's look at scroll maps. So above the fold is the first page. Like a firebootcamp.com has a long page. The top one is above the fold. How much time do people spend scrolling down? Okay? I don't even know if my mum is good with scrolling down. If there's a lot of those type of users, that's a problem. So, and you can download and share heat maps. Oh, check this out. You can see the difference between a desktop user and a phone and a tablet user, and see the difference in how they use it. Check this out. Visitor recording. I can watch each individual session and see where they went. That is spooky. What do they do? The French guy wants to know how it works. Well, Gene, what happens is they record the XY coordinates of the mouse movement. They send it over to the server. They replay the page and put that over the top. Then they make a video out of it. And then,
but is it legal?
Is it legal?
I mean, it's spy.
It's spy. Okay, well.
Yeah, it is legal, but there is a good question, which is what do you do if people are filling out forms? If you're tracking them on a checkout page, all of these tools have the option to blank out form fields. And so by default, that'll be on checkout. So if someone's putting in credit card details, by default, it won't record that. So that's actually it's a good question, yeah.
So at the bottom of your form, you'd have terms and conditions which will allow you to do this sort of thing, that everybody just ticks and never reads.
Okay. So let me just move along. There's heaps more, but they have the conversions. So you can see, let's just say you try and get them from homepage to pricing to register, and you can see, well, they go to the homepage, 58% drop off before they get to pricing. When they hit pricing, so most of the pages go like this. If there is a massive drop off, let's just say they go along, they hit pricing and it goes almost like that. You know your pricing is way out of bounds for the average target user that's looking at this product. And then you can watch recordings of people dropping off, and you just click watch and see how they drop off. Visualize the form and field engagement. Identify the problematic fields. You can see on this particular field 11 seconds. Amazing. And then they've got polls, the same type of things. You can see, visualize the feedback. Look at this screen. This screen is what I was describing before. You know the NPS? So in the Net Promoter Score, you can actually look, the green is the promoters. I promote your product, the other ones are not. All right. And then there's the last one, which is the first one I showed you. You've got this, you've got the visual feedback, you've got, you can customize this and see the Senate. Yeah. Is it expensive? We'll come to it, but the answer is no. This one, some are, this is not. This helps a lot with customer resource, conversion rate optimization. All right, and it's cheap. So it's good feedback. We've got Salesforce here. And so if you use this with Salesforce, I found that the ones I want, which is knowledge base and chat, they're the two basic ones, for example. It's $420 a month per user. So, if you've got 10 users, 50 grand. Zendesk is, you buy individual bits. So you say, all right, I want chat, that's $14 times 10 users, that's $1,600, but it's only chat. I need the knowledge base. So then you've got to go, all right, so the knowledge base, that's called the guide, and that's $15 times 10, that's $18. So that's like 4 grand. 3 grand for, but then there's even cheaper ones than this, all right? I like this because of the API, and I'll come to it. HotJar, awesome, $89 per month, okay? Now on a massive site, they charge more, but 20,000 a day, is it?
No, that's right. So they've got tiers and the personal plan is cheaper, yeah.
So all good. So here's what it comes down to, integration and APIs. So for example, Yuli has Microsoft CRM and Yuli has Zendesk or Salesforce, and he needs to make this work. So the way they work is they have some built-in ones, or they have apps and people build them. So here's an example. The built-in one for, so Zendesk's main stuff is Jira, Salesforce, Okay, they're built-in stuff for CRM, for example, doesn't support out Dynamics 2016. So what do we do? What do you do when it doesn't support it? You go to the App Store, and they have a cool App Store. You come in here, you search for Dynamics, you find that, you pay the vendor, say $5 a month or whatever it is, and you're good to go. So that's how we did it. So you install the app, configure your connection. So just to do that again, you come in here, you search Dynamics, you find a series of different vendors, and you use that. Or if you don't want to do it that way and pay them, you might want to do it yourself using Zapier. And Zapier allows you to, because they've got a connector, you've got CRM and Zapier, and that just works. Or if you really were tied to Microsoft and you wanted to do, this is Zapier, you could use Azure Logic Apps. Now there's a problem with using Azure Logic Apps only in that Zendesk don't supply the documentation to do it automatically. So you would have to come in here, set up your Azure Logic app, configure it all up, know the schema names, and you're good to go. Or you could do it this way. They all have, not all of them, but most of anyone you choose should have an API. Don't choose them if they don't have a good API. So Zendesk have an API. Let's just say I have my CRM system. I have Zendesk here, and I have an empty grid. I want to populate it with the stuff of my tickets. What's involved? Okay, I am going to, okay. How many people here are developers? Oh, almost everyone. Okay, so let me just show you that then. Let's come into, I will come into here, I have a sample project. So I want to populate that grid. What's involved? Well, the first thing I will need to do is I will go to the API and I'll build the API. I'll open up Visual Studio 2017, 15.4. Don't they have a complicated naming these days? So here is my project. I want to connect to that Zendesk API. I guess the first thing I need to do before I do this is I better go Zendesk API. So I'll come into the API. Here we go. They have a developer portal. Let's have a look what they've got. I want to just get the tickets. All right, so I scroll down here looking for tickets wherever they are. Oh, there we go. Tickets. Bingo. So I just want to know the REST calls here. Not seeing anything. All right, here's the JSON format. Here's all the fields. It's not what I'm after. There's all the fields. Ah, bingo, that's what I'm after. I want that. So I want that. So I would run that. And I should, okay, so that's what I'm after. All right. So let's come to Visual Studio. All right, I'll take you through the two ways of doing this. The first way is you will open up NuGet and you use the system.net.http NuGet package, and we will give it a route name, API tickets, and we are going to instantiate our code. Now, we are going to instantiate this. We are then going to do our own authorization, and there you're building up the string, and then you're putting slash tickets.json, and that tickets.json is the same as this guy. All right, so we've built up that string there, and we're good. So if you look at that code, it's about, I don't know, that looks like 8 lines of code. That's just to get all the tickets. Obviously, we've got another method here to get one ticket. All right. Now, to do this, to be clear, in the model you had to set up this. So, and now I guess this is code to maintain. So just to do that is a lot. Like there's 160 lines of code plus that 8. There's a bit. But Zendesk make it a bit better. They give us this Zendesk API client. So you could use the NuGet package for that. That looks pretty sexy. So let's do that again. So assuming that you use that guy, we will do that again. And what's involved in this? So there's my route, API v2 tickets, and I've got the same two methods here, one for all of them, this is for all, and this is for an individual. So, and here's the nice thing about this. if you do it this way, you get nice IntelliSense. And now I can look down, whatever is in here. There's satisfaction ratings. I didn't know about that. And ticket comments and ticket, okay? So you get that nice IntelliSense. Plus, I should be clear, you have to, in the startup, you do need to, I better not show you my key, but in the configure services, you need to add a Zendesk client, okay? So you add that, you've got to use the right NuGet package, and you're good to go. And let's run this and check that it's returning JSON. There is my JSON. All right, all good. And if I wanted to consume that, in fact, I should, just to complete the demo, I'll just come back and I'll go to the UI. I'll just open that in code. So I'll open VS Code. There is. So if I went into the component HTML, you can see if I look at those four, I've got those 4 columns across the top. I've got my Angular binding here to populate that. Then I go into the component, and here we have our code behind. So I can just go into that get all, go to definition, and here is my code. So that is that. I probably should, I'll just run. Oh, you know what, I'll show you a hot tip. What I was about to do was go to command and navigate to the folder. Check this out, this is hot. What I'm after is I want to go into this folder, and I want to go to the command in this folder. Know how to do that, Craig? I want to go all the way there, into that. I could copy and then go into command and paste, or did you know that you can type CMD, enter, and it goes to that folder? Who knew that? Oh, half of you. All right, never mind. All right. So what is it? ng serve. And that should be running. And now I should be able to run my Angular project. Is that? Yep, that's good. I will go over to my Angular project now. And what was it? Localhost 4. Can I go back to my taskbar? Yes, I can. Why is the VS Code orange? You won't believe this. Microsoft Marketing, and do you know how many developers are very upset about that? And what makes them more upset, I believe, if you have the Insiders version and this, they're both the same color icon now. Are they different? Oh, they're different now. Who's got both installed? Are they different? Oh, they are. Oh, they nearly were going to be the same icon.
They separated.
Right, okay, good. And there, look, I didn't even get a round of applause. Okay, you guys are very tough. Anyway, that is the beauty of Zendesk or any of the ones that have a proper API, and that's why you've got to do it. So let's flick ahead. So the integration is important. Only choose the solution as a REST API and has client libraries. You can see how important the client library is, unless you want all that code or you just want a couple of lines of code. And good documentation. If it isn't docs dot whatever, they're old-fashioned. And I just told you how to build this. I showed you what was involved. I showed you the JSON, and I showed you the output. These are some other things we cared about. I don't know if this will matter to you guys as much, but we use Teams a lot. And so when you go to a team, all right, I'm just currently in my intranet one. One of the beauties of Teams, who's using Teams? Oh, almost all of you. That's impressive. Who's using Slack? Less than Teams. All right. So here's the important thing. You want to be able to come down here and choose Zendesk, or choose whichever one you choose. As long as they're in this list, there's Intercom, and most of them are pretty good. But that's pretty important. What else do we have? Okay. So reporting. Reporting is our whole, and our report, all this stuff that, if I do this presentation in 12 months' time, I am going to have some really good data for you guys, and I think the industry also will have really good data. So I want more data and more reports now on customer expectations. And for example, Zendesk allow you to go in Power BI and connect it up, but HotJar doesn't, okay? and HotJar won't speak to you. They'll only chat to you. It's very painful. So I've got some rules to better Zendesk, suggestions to better Zendesk, things that they should do better, and I've got some suggestions to the other ones. I want to come back to the last thing. The last thing, remember I told you which companies I am loyal to? I said there is one company that I am going to be very loyal to. I don't think there's a choice. There is a company that all you guys are going to be very loyal to. I'll be very surprised. No, I don't. See, Liam said Microsoft. No, I'm already loyal to Microsoft, but I kind of put them in the same bucket as Qantas. I'm tied to them. I'm not going to go out and start learning Java now. I know, like I'm tied in. You know, so I could become a hipster, but my beard will be grey and it's no good. So, what's the other one? Who am I going to be crazy loyal to? It's going to be my number one. Amazon. Amazon are coming to Australia finally. It's taken them a long time. A long, long time. So they're finally coming. Nobody knows the date, but I'm going to predict in the next 30 days we will have Amazon. Okay? That's my prediction. I don't know. I don't have any inside information other than I sat next to some Amazon guy coming back from America, but he didn't tell me. Now, I have a lot of experience with Amazon because I go to the States and I stay at people's places. Okay? Amazon, in the next several years, is going to completely kill many of these companies, and there'll only be a couple of men standing. Harvey Norman, good night. Big W, JB Hi-Fi. Why do I need to go to JB Hi-Fi anymore? Myer, David Jones, Target, Kmart, even Cogan, not me, but Kogan, the other spelling. He's in trouble. And I said to my wife, do you want to know something? You're going to start using Amazon instead of shopping at Woolies, Coles, and she doesn't go to Aldi. In fact, she doesn't go to Coles. She is handcuffed to Woolies because she will only shop at Woolies because they only give you Qantas points, and she's Greek, and so she only wants to fly when she has enough points of mine or her own. So it's kind of funny because Woolies and Coles, all they think about is Aldi. They're thinking about the wrong problem. When I am in the States and I visit someone on a rural property, they have an Amazon truck turn up. I shouldn't say Amazon truck, but they have an Amazon package turn up to their house almost every day. If it's not every day, it's every second day, and they're continual. In fact, when you go out and like the US mail big truck comes, it comes and you know, you're on a farm, not many people visit, so I go out and say hello, you know, just have a chat, you know, oh, you're from Australia. I look in the truck. The entire US mail truck is full of Amazon packages. That's all it is. It's just an Amazon delivery service. We were, Sunday morning, they have no eggs. They call up and they say, the lady of the house goes, Amazon, dozen eggs please. I think that's an odd thing. 2 hours later, Amazon turn up with eggs. It's not an Amazon truck, it's some normal car. They must have some allegiance with Uber or some delivery system that gets there. So we will all be Amazon Prime members. And most of us that are cool will be Amazon Now. Amazon Now? Prime Now. So the instant delivery, the 2 hour delivery. It's incredible. I said to my wife, you will stop shopping here. You will do most of your shopping on Amazon. She goes, I'm not going shopping anywhere but my Woolies. Why would I want to do my shopping online? I'm not having someone else check my tomatoes. Like when she goes shopping, she has to turn over. It's a ritual. Every single tomato on the entire thing until she gets the best 10. All right. So it's very productive. It's therapeutic, I think. So she's not doing that. And I said, so you won't use Amazon? No way. I said, what if we're ordering something from Amazon because I need a new hard drive and there's no Nutrigrain? Would you care? Oh no, I wouldn't care. So we have a Google Home. Ruby set up Google Home in our house, and I go into, this is what I tried. I had Google Home, and I said, never tried this before. Hey Google, okay Google, can you add Nutri-Grain to the shopping list? I didn't even know if there was a shopping list. I didn't know anything about it. It just said, add Nutri-Grain to your shopping list. And so I went in here under Ruby's account, and you can click on Kitchen Home. You can see the settings, or you can scroll down and click on List, My Shopping List. I added Nutri-Grain, coffee pods, batteries, mangoes. Get a load of this, Amazon Dash. You can get these little baby things. So when you're in the bathroom, there'll probably be a little cup of Dash things. And when you run out of toilet paper, you click that. When you run out of shampoo, you click that. When you go into the kitchen, there'll be another one. I want coffee pods. There'll probably be one sitting in the fridge. I need new milk. And there'll be a series of these things. So that is the future. So we've had a long, long night. I know it's been a long night. We now know the terms. We now know how to solve this stuff. We know now how to solve it what I think is the bad way without even trying metrics. I'm going to encourage you to do this style, or at least give me feedback on whether you like the customer DevOps approach. We've talked about heaps of different tools, and there's lots of different tools out there. They're getting better and better. They have to play with each other nicely. Only choose one with an API. And the reporting and the future with Amazon is very bright. So in conclusion, having a bad customer experience keeps people loyal to your brand. It takes months to find a customer and only seconds to lose it. Everything we've talked tonight about is not really about getting any new customers. Follow all this advice, you're not getting new customers. This is all about retaining your existing customers. So you need your people, and improving your customer experience with staff is really hard. Changing employees' habits is really, really hard. It takes a lot of time. They don't want to change the way they the tools that they're used to. They don't want to change the way they communicate. It's really hard. Okay, so only choose solutions that have nice integration and a good API. Thank you.